closely related. Okay, so let's look at this. This is how we introduce the part whole method thing. Okay, say for example this problem. Andy has 4 toy cars and Carlo has 2 toy cars. How many toy cars do they have together? So if we would like to present that, we would draw, or we'll come up here with 4 toy cars representing Andy's cars, and we add to that 2 toy cars for Carlo. We are adding this because the problem is asking for the total number of cars altogether. So we put all of Andy's and Carlos cars together and would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know that they have 6. This is the part whole method model. Okay, so we take this block over here as one part, and we label that as one part. We put a brace underneath, and there's a name part in here. And then let this bigger part here, or bigger block, be another part. And so again, we label it with a brace, and let's name it one part. Okay. So if we add both together, as you can see from the figure, they represent one whole thing. Alright? Okay. So what's the concept behind this model? So from just by looking at this model, you can see that the part plus the other part equals one whole. Okay. And what other concept that we can get from this model? If we subtract one part from the whole, you can see that's equal to the other part. See, if this is one whole thing here, and you take away this part here, you'll know that this is the difference. Okay. Or if you have one whole here and you take away this bigger part, you know that the smaller part. Okay, let's do an example. Okay, draw the whole part model of the following. Okay. Okay, say 4 plus 3. Okay. So this is one block which represents one part of 4 units each. So we draw that block there, and we know that there are 4 units there, so we write 4 underneath that. And the gray one is the other part, which is 3. Okay. And we write 3 underneath that. And since it's asking for the whole, or the total or the sum, we write this brace on top and put the question mark in there. Okay, so this is the model. This is the whole part or part whole model of this. Alright, let's do another one. Oh, can you do this on your own? Okay. Alright, how about this? So you draw a block that represents 2 and write 2 underneath it. And then beside that, you draw another block a little bit larger because 3 is larger than 2, or bigger than 2, and you put 3 underneath it. And where would you put the question mark? Okay, that's right, on top of the whole thing. Okay, this is another one. Okay. Alright, so you know that 8 is greater than 3. So when you draw the block, okay, the block that represents 8 should be a little bit longer, or maybe almost more than twice longer than the block that represents 3. And where would you put the question mark? Where would you put 3? And where would you put 8? Okay. Okay. Let's try this word problem. 134 boys and 119 girls took part in an art competition. How many children took part in the competition? Okay, so let's read the problem carefully. You have 134 boys and also 119 girls. They attended the art competition. Okay, so let's draw the model for that. So let's let this block over here, the blue block, represents the number of boys. Since 134 is fairly large number, then we don't need to make small units here that represents 134 boys. So you can just draw one whole block thing here that represents for the boys, and the same thing for the girls. So you can see 134 is bigger than 119. So that's why the block that represents boys is a little bit bigger than the one that represents girls. Okay, so after we draw the blocks, we draw the label. The label for the number of boys, we put 134 under it, and then under the girls, we put 119. Okay, so let's go back to the question. The question is how many children took part in the competition. So what is the problem actually asking? It's asking for the total number of kids, right? So that's the whole. And so the whole is supposed to be written on top. So we put the question mark in there. Okay, so this is your model. And of course, after that, the model is used to solve the problem. So since you already know, you can see here that you have to add number of boys to number of girls. Then we do the operation. Okay. Alright. So let's do another problem here that's similar to this. So the given is 253 children took part in an art competition. If there are 134 boys, how many girls are asked? Were there? So if you can see, this is just the same story, except that it's presented this different way. Okay, in this problem, all the total number of children who attended the art competition is given. Okay. So we draw our model here. So again, this represents the boys, and the other one represents the girls. And as you can see, it's given that 253 children attended. So you put 253 on top because that's the total number of boys and girls. Okay. And then the other one given is there are 134 boys. So the number of boys are actually given, which is 134. Okay, so you write 134 under the block that says boys. That represents boys. And since you're being asked about how many number of girls, you put the question mark under the block that represents girls. Okay, the important part about this exercise is you know how to draw this particular model. Okay. And after you draw this model, that's when you do the operation. Okay, so you can see that for us to get the number of girls, we need to subtract the total number of children minus the number of boys. So this is the operation here. Okay, so there are 119 girls. Okay, so if you can see, this is one story actually, and presented different ways. The first one is the parts were given, and you're being asked about the whole. So see here, look closely at the labels. Okay, so since the parts are given, you have to label the parts and then label what is being asked, which is the whole, with a question mark. On the other problem, the whole or total number of children is given, and one part of the number of boys is also given. Okay, let's do this example. There are 5 eggs under Hank's bed. Really, Hank? You have eggs under your bed? Is this true? Okay, maybe this is not true. Okay. There are 5 eggs under Hank's bed. There are 9 balls. 9 balls under Hank's bed too. So you have eggs and balls under your bed, Hank. Alright, okay. So how many eggs and balls are there under Hank's bed? Okay, so let's draw the model method. The model for this problem. Okay, so let this red block represents the number of eggs under Hank's bed. Okay, so we label that. We put 5 under that, and then there are also balls, and let's label that. Okay, so under eggs we put 5, under balls we put 9. And let's go back to the problem. How many eggs and balls are there under Hank's bed? So what's being asked is the total number of eggs and balls, right? So we put the question mark on top. Okay, so again, the important part of this exercise is learning how to draw this model. And then after that, we do the exercise. The operation. So we add 5 and 9 and we get 14. So obviously, instead of the question mark, in place of the question mark. Okay, let's do this example here. So Rebecca has has $50 for lunch. Okay, Rebecca, this is a lot of money for lunch. Okay. Her brother Chase lost his lunch money, probably from playing outside. Okay. So Rebecca, being the nice girl that she is, so Rebecca gave him half of hers. Okay, so how much does she have left after giving some to Chase? Okay, so let's break this one down. Obviously, you can see below I have shown the operation, you can easily know that $50 is originally what Rebecca had, and she gave half of it, which is 50, to Chase. Okay, so let's do the model. So let's say this is the block that represents all money that Rebecca has, which is $50. Okay, so let's label that. Okay, and then she took half of it and gave half, which is 25, to Chase. All right. So what's left for Rebecca? So this is the one that's being asked, right? So you label every single bit of the every single number of blocks in here, and that would be the right model. And then you always go back to your question, and so you can label which part of the block should the question mark go. And then of course after you have done this, then you do the. Alright, so this is your assignment. Okay, so let's study pages 34 or 36 to 39. Some of this may have been discussed in class, but you can also study this one. This is good for 2 days actually, and then answer workbook pages 34 and 35.